Thank you.
So today is Tuesday, March 14th. Is that right? March 15th?
On my end.
15th. Today's the 15th.
Yeah.
You're like on my end. Well, your end's like the same end. I'm different end, but same end. You're so funny. And we were just talking about working with clients, and when people don't have the capacity or ability to like change or alter or transform how they're doing things, even though it's not something that's serving them, and they kind of come to you with like, this really isn't working for me. And so what I said about it was that that I always tell people two things. One is that we're all here on our own journey and our own path, and how someone else handles their journey and their path may not be how you would do it, because that's their journey and that's your journey. and then the second thing is that people only can meet you at the capacity that they have. So there's actually another part to this that I didn't say before, which falls into like expectations and unexpressed expectations. So we only have upset when there's a unmet expectation. That's the only time we get upset, is when there's an unmet expectation. And often we have an expectation of others and we don't express it. So it's like an uncommunicated, we haven't given them the guidebook or anything. And then they're supposed to just know, and like they haven't met it. And we're like, but you're supposed to know, you're my boyfriend, you're my whatever, you're supposed to know that that's important to me. It's such nonsense. But the other thing, the main point that I made was that people can only meet us at the capacity that they have. And so there's only three options within that, which is that they can choose to be open and receive coaching or whatever. Like they're open to transforming that capacity or expanding their capacity. And not everybody's open or willing to do that. Or at the time anyway, like sometimes it takes a little longer for them to be ready to do that. And then secondly is that we can choose to accept them as they are with these limited capacities, and just know, like my best friend David's like that. He's been my best friend since I was 13 years old. I know the limits of his capacity. Like when he says, I'll call you tomorrow, that's probably not going to happen, you know, but I know that. And he'll still be my brother for life from another mother. And like, you know, and I just know what I can count on him for and what I can't.
Yeah.
Or I could choose, or we could choose, that third option is to just like not deal with that or not engage with that limited capacity and be like, look, I'm not willing to engage with this. And I love you and I'm stepping away. You know, we don't have to necessarily say that, but sometimes we do that, like energetically we do that. And then Shannon jumped in and shared her vantage point on that.
So yeah, my point is that sometimes we plant a seed. You know, we're not always going to be the ones that are going to make these huge changes in people. People come, they come to us, and our role may be just to plant a seed and somebody else will water it, because sometimes people are not quite ready for the full plant to grow, right? They're ready for the seeding, they're ready for the groundwork to be done, but they may not be ready for the full work. And I had said that I have a lot of people who come to me with the same thing over and over and over again. And I'm the type of person that I don't cut people loose just because they're not making progress, because my perspective of progress is different from other people's perspective of progress. So we may expect, like you were talking about expectations, we may expect that they are supposed to make a certain amount of progress, but that is my perspective. But they are the ones to make the change. They are the ones to make the progress. Oh, I love the the unicorn. So in my viewpoint, it is my honor to walk with them as long as they need that support in order to shift. When they're ready to shift, they'll shift, but I will be there as the support system until they're ready for the watering of the seed.
Mhm. And I've had that happen too, where I've had clients come back much later. And I've had people come back that I've had an scarcity and abundance conversation with, and they'll come back and they'll be like, I still have that card in my wallet where I gave up a scarcity conversation and I created an abundance conversation, and I have them write it out and keep it in their wallet as like a reminder. And they're like, oh, I still have it. And then this is like 5 years later, 10 years later, that they're like, oh, I still have it, you know?
Oh, what does it say on the card?
So this is a process that I do with people. I'm a, uh-oh. I don't know how to do that. So somehow my phone is connected to my laptop. And when my phone rings, it rings on my laptop. And I don't know why. Like, I don't know what I did. I upgraded something on my phone or on my laptop, and now it does that, and I don't want it to do that. Anyway, so they give up a scarcity conversation, and we either burn it or shred it. In the original time that I created it, the exercise that I created, we put it in a shredder, and I had the shredder decorated to look like fire, and I was calling it
cool.
the inferno of disempowering conversations. And people would shred it, and then they would say something new, and I had these gold cards, and they would like say something new, and they would write it on the gold card, and they would write 2 copies of it, and so one they would put in their wallet, and then another they would put up on this board of like these new conversations, abundance conversations we were creating. And super fun.
That's a neat idea, Jules. That's really neat.
Thank you.
I love that.
And I don't know, Jennifer, do you have anything to add to that? Before I did have something specifically that I wanted to share about today, like something, kind of a message that came through, but about
well,
how
I
to
don't really
deal with people. Yeah.
share as far as like with working with people, because I haven't really done a lot of working with other people, but I would just say, you know, you just have to trust yourself when you're working with other people, and listen to yourself and do what you think is right. And if the other person isn't connecting or whatever, maybe it's just not the right connection, you know, the right partner to work with, or maybe it's just you need to break through their limiting beliefs or something a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really sure. I haven't done a lot of work with others to really be able to comment on how to get past those certain issues with people. But I would just say, be true to yourself, do what feels like it's with the divine always. And with the divine, let it go. Even if, like, I guess even working with some people, and like right now, the astrology is really strong with, like, sometimes even though you love somebody and you think they're the person, or they're that's the thing, that's the career, whatever, that's the passion you want to have, it's just not in connection with you, really. It's not on your divine path, and you have to be okay with letting it go, even though you thought it was the best thing for you. You know, it really might not be, and you have to be okay with just standing your ground and letting things move away as they will, and keep your passion going where really the best thing for you is. Focus on what's best for you right now. That's all I have right now.
Thank you for that. I was looking up, I posted something. Is it here? Was it in? Oh, here it is. This is a Dolores Cannon that was posted. So Dolores Cannon, if you don't know who she is the creator, founder of QHHT, which finally on April 1st, I will be starting my level 1 certification.
Nice.
Now that I have some space around it, you know, you basically have 2 months with it to complete it. I could extend it, but I'm looking to get it done in that time.
Mhm.
But this was the quote. No matter what has happened to you, you've got to let it go. You have to forgive. You have to release it. As long as you hold on to anger or resentment, you're holding on to karma. You're going to have to come back and do it all again with the same people and the same circumstances, only worse next time.
Girl.
It's not easy to drop all the baggage we carry around with us, but you must let it go. You'll feel such a wonderful relief when you do.
That is so true. Right, Shannon? Shannon knows. I've had to carry around some karma baggage for a while.
Oh, yeah.
You got to let it go, girl. You got to let it go.
Uh-oh. Now Shannon got booted.
Uh-oh.
Freaking Zoom. Okay, I do not consent to this fuckery today.
Do not consent to this fuckery today.
That makes me think of, there was like this Whitney Houston thing that my best friend David used to do, that he would say, I'm not having it today. I don't know where that came from, but it made me just, I haven't talked about him in a while, so that I mentioned him earlier, I guess.
You still got to make those shirts. That would be a great shirt.
I just was thinking that. I was like, oh, I still need to look into that. I actually know someone who could make it for me. So the same guy who made the Cosmic Playground shirts for me.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to share was, it's been such an intense time. Like I was so consumed in moving and stuff. And Eric and I went dancing Friday night, and we needed a date night and to go out and just have some fun. But like also, we were wanting to go be somewhere where we didn't have to wear masks. And this particular venue, I wish I had known it sooner, has never required masks the entire time. I don't know how they got away with it, but they got away with it. And so we're dancing, and we went in Eric's car. We kind of decided to go last minute, and I didn't have any slinkies on me. And I was like, oh, I felt so naked. I was like, oh, I don't have my slinkies. I don't have my, like, that's my like my thing on the dance floor that has me like connect with people and whatever. And the week prior, we went to, I think it was the week prior, might have been, no, it was a week prior, we went to a casino up here that we had gone to in August, and they required masks the whole time, even at your table. So we haven't been back. And that was the first night that they were like, no masks. So we're on the dance floor, and I'm going around the dance floor, and I'm singing to people. And there's like this song, We Are Family. And this is like what I do when I do my cosmic grooves in the park and stuff, is like, I'm totally connecting with people. I'm looking them in the eye. I'm smiling. I'm singing to them. They're smiling back at me. Like it's this whole energy connection. So I'm doing that on the dance floor, and to different songs. And then we had a table right by the dance floor. We go to our table, we come back, and we're trying to get back towards the front where we were. Now there were two guys on the dance floor that were like dancing full out like we were. And when we started to come back, this guy was like, oh, here, come on up, and made room and like pulled us back up to by the front of the stage. I was like, that's really cool, right? Then again, we're dancing, so we go back to our table to get, to drink water and whatever, come back, and the guys aren't there, or they're over. And this other guy like turns, he's like, there's not space here. And I turned to him, I was like, brother, we were just here. And I'm like, we've made room for other people as well. Like, it's all as well. Like, really, it's, we're sharing the dance floor. Like, you have plenty of room. We have plenty of room. It's all okay. It's really okay. And I don't even know if he heard me fully or like whatever, but it was like the energy he was being. And to me, that was a total metaphor for how life has been. There are the people that are like, here, I support you. Let me help you. Oh, I recognize you, right? And then there's the people that are like, you're taking my space. I don't have, I don't have space for you. And there's like this competition and this judgment, right? And so that's the first thing. And then the second thing, is, oh, you're muted, Jennifer. I was like, are you talking to us or talking to?
Oh, I was talking to my dog, but
Okay.
you were making me laugh though, because I was saying to myself, a square to spare from the old Seinfeld. I haven't a square to spare of toilet paper when she runs out of toilet paper in the stall, and she's like, excuse me, do you have toilet paper? And she's like, I haven't a square to spare. Like, it was
It's like, come on, really. So it was an interesting demonstration of, like, again, scarcity and abundance, and like generosity, and like out for yourself, or like we and I. And then I was really hung up on the fact that I didn't have my slinky. And to me, that's, my slinky is like a tool. It's like a stealth tool that I use in community when, like, I want to, like, share love and joy with people, but in a really undercover way. and so then I, hang on one sec. So then I got the message that it was like, and I've gotten this before, which is why I'm bringing it up now, because I think we all could hear this right now, is that the tools are now within us. We don't need any of the tools. We don't need any of them. And that's happened before, where I forget what, I didn't have something. I didn't have my wands. Oh, and during my Cambo session, my tuning forks were in the room, but they were like kind of over in the middle of the room. And I don't know if you've ever done Cambo, but it's pretty intense medicine, and you're like, physically, it's really intense. And so I couldn't go get my tuning fork. And I was like, you know what? It doesn't matter. I can just embody and invite the energy of this tuning fork and have that same benefit. So it was the same thing. So I was dancing as if I was dancing with my slinky with people, but I didn't actually have the slinky. And it was totally fun, and it worked, right? So that's really what I wanted to bring to the group, is just this understanding that where we are now, we don't need our tools. Now we can use them if we choose to. Like, I'll still pretty much always use oracle cards, because I like the confirmation of that with people, where the card says something and something might come out of my mouth, and then I continue reading the card, or I read from the guidebook and it says what I just was going to say, or what I just said, or
Same
the next
here,
card.
Mhm.
So there's no arguing with that. The cards that got pulled are the cards that got pulled, right? So there's some, like, foundation for it, but I could not use the cards. And
Yeah, I
just,
would earlier if it was a security blanket.
right. It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also like, in a way, it's a security blanket, but it's also like, I love dancing with it. Like, I love dancing with it, so it's also my expression. Like, that's,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I would just be worried more if it was a security blanket, because you don't want to fall back on that. You want to have the confidence within yourself. Like, I can do this. I don't need this tool to
right.
be able to connect with other people and express myself. So I would it's good to use it if you feel you need it, I guess. But, just know, yeah, you don't need it. It's always within you,
Well, it is, but it's the slinky for me has like a couple purposes. So I use it for energy, like to generate energy, to share energy. People don't know that, but it's also just it's just a conversation piece. And when I have the slinky, all of a sudden I'm engaging with everybody's inner child.
Yeah.
So it's so great. Like it's for that, it's an incredible tool because people
Yeah.
are like, oh, Slinky, I have it. Like, and their inner child just comes out to play, you know? And so that's for that. I haven't, I don't know how else to create that except with that.
Yeah, no, that's a valid point for sure. It does bring out the child in people, I'm sure, you know.
So
It kind of cuts through a bunch of layers in somebody right away.
so that's all I really wanted to share. Thank you for letting me share. Was the understanding that we can use the tools, but we don't need the tools. They're all within us. Like when we invite in the liquid crystal, when we invite in the honeycomb, when we invite in the liquid golden river, like it's the same thing. We invite in the frequency of Schumann's resonance and my earth ohm tuning fork. It's all the same. It's energy, and we have the ability now to invite in any of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree. I mean, you know, tools are tools, right? But we also, like you said, we're inviting in the energy. And I know that if you'd had a Slinky run, I'm sure a lot of people are like, oh, you know, and they get all excited about that. So it's an icebreaker too.
Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
people look at it and they're like, why does she have a Slinky? Oh, I remember when I had a Slinky. So it's kind of like that nostalgia that people create. So I could see why that would be a fun thing to do.
Mhm.
And it sparks pieces of our brain. So I can
Yeah.
see that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's all I basically had for today. Does anybody else have anything they want to share, or anything about that, about tools, or like how you see that could now, that will shift maybe how you do things, or
So I just wanted to share, I have several people that I know that are in a lot of pain. And so I'm constantly pondering how to create instant healing. And I was conversing with my son the other day because I bounce a lot of things off of him. He may be 15, but I'll tell you, he's very advanced. And so we're talking about instant healing. And I was mentioning to him that I have a client that, you know, she's very connected to the dragons. She's been in pain for 25 years, but she's very connected to the dragons. So when we bring in the energy of the dragons and we bring in the energy of the etherical energy, rather than, I mean, we bring in all the elements, it works. But when you bring in the elements and add the etherical aspect to it, something shifts in the body. Every single time we do it, my client has a shift in her body. And so I was thinking about that, and I was like, so maybe that might be an aspect that I might want to bring in. But then again, we're talking about tools and steps and all that kind of stuff. And I really want to get down to the nitty gritty of what instant healing is. Because we can talk about, okay, this is a method, this is a method, this is a method. But what is it that's creating that change? What is it in there, that element to create instant healing? And earlier, I actually saw on Facebook, it said, pain in and of itself holds trauma. So pain causes the trauma as well, not just the trauma itself, but pain causes trauma. So when you're doing healing, or when you're doing instant healing, or trying to take pain away, you also need to deal with the trauma that has been created because of the pain. So not just the trauma that, because, you know, this is what we do, right? We deal with the trauma of how the pain was created, but we're not dealing with the trauma of the actual pain that they've lived through day in and day out, in each moment, in each session, in each time. And so my idea is that maybe this will be the next thing, but is to incorporate the etherical energy, definitely, the elements, definitely, because we are all part of the elements. And then also to address the actual trauma before, after, during, and even into the future to see if we can create instant healing. So I would love to talk about that.
That's awesome. There was a lot I heard in that. So one of the things that came up for me, and this was very early on when I first was getting partnership with my guides and the angels and ascended masters. And my client at the time asked me, I don't know if you remember this, we might not even been doing calls. I know we were doing, I was doing JNS tours, but I don't think we were doing calls at that time. And he asked me if I could, I was sharing with him a healing that I had had the day before that was like just me and the angels. You know, one of those things where you're like, okay. And I was still buzzing from it. And he asked me if we could go do that for this couple that had been caught in the fire in like there was fires in Eastern Washington. They had lost, she was pregnant, lost the baby, their toddler was lost to the fire, and they both were burned like over their whole body. And I said, I don't know, let's try. So the reason I'm sharing this story is because when it became instantaneous is I was there, I started scanning them, and me and my guides invited their higher self to invite their guides in. And as soon as they did that, like the healing started, like things shifted. And so not all people, or I should say most people, unless they're in this conversation that we're in of like connection to source, etc., and that we're spiritual beings having a human body incarnation experience, they don't know that we have free will and you have to invite your guides. So to me, that was part of what I was hearing when you say bringing in the etheric is like bringing in source energy, bringing in the guides, bringing in the angels, bringing in all of that, and saying, I invite that in, I give permission. I have goosebumps saying it. And then it is instantaneous because it's like timeless, you know, like it.
Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
to be instantaneous like that, both parties have to have a belief that it is possible as well, and it can be done. And so I think when you're working with somebody, if they don't have that belief that this can work for me, then I'm not sure how instantaneous the healing could be for them. I also got a message that muscles, you have to work with the muscles for some reason. I don't know, because I guess maybe they hold stuff. I don't know.
Well, I mean, these people were in a coma, you know, like they were not conscious, but we spoke to their higher self.
Yeah.
And I've had experiences where I've spoken to the person's higher self. They weren't in front of me, and the higher self was like, no,
Oh,
like this is part of their karma and they need to work through it.
I see.
So the higher self will tell you too. And it may not be the
Yeah, that
answer you want.
happens.
I'm sorry, I gotta
That
turn off
happens.
my heater. Hang on. Shannon,
You know, I've had that as well, where some spirits will just say no,
Mm.
you know.
Your vocal is delayed right now,
but
Shannon, FYI.
Anybody who knows me knows that I'm okay. Is it better now? Is it better, or is it still delayed?
Yeah,
It's still
it's
warbling.
in slow motion. Your voice is
Not
in
going
slow
well?
motion.
I'm
Try again?
I'm gonna plug in. Let me plug in. Let me plug it in. All right, let me know when it gets better.
Now it's better.
Better.
Keep talking.
Is it better now?
I think so.
Good. Okay. So, anybody that
Jeez.
Uh,
Oh
Oh,
my. Okay.
I love it when I get going and the energy just shoots me down. Anywho, when I'm working with somebody and they may not quite believe it, but they want it so badly that they're willing to try anything, I'm so tenacious that I will figure out a way to circumvent part of their brain that believes or that doubts,
yeah.
because their will is they're asking, they're saying, I want this, I want the healing. And if their brain has old programming that creates the doubt, then there has to be a way to circumvent that. Like I said, I'm tenacious as all get up,
Mhm.
and I will find a way if I have to find a way. you know so for me, belief systems are just a piece that they're almost like a roadblock, a little pebble in the road that we just need to clear out so that we can get down to the nitty gritty.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a believer. I used to be a true believer of karmic energy, and I'm shifting that a little bit. Only in the aspect of, yes, there's past lives. Yes, we've agreed to things. Yes, we've, signed up for things. But I truly believe that we're ascending past the victim mentality.
Yes,
And if we
I
sit
agree.
in that victim mentality of, oh, I killed 1,000 people in my past life, so I must punish myself in this life, all we're doing is perpetuating the victim mentality. And I really would like to move past that in the aspect of empowering ourselves to create the best life that we can create here on this plane, regardless of what happened in past lives, regardless of what we promised other people. We can still be amazing people and help other people and be there for them when they need us. In addition, we also can be here for ourselves. This is their lifetime, and this is the time for us to empower ourselves and ascend past the victim karmic energy. That's my soapbox for today.
I've never looked at karmic energy as being victim energy. That's a different way for me to look at it. I've always just looked at karmic energy like more of like just residue kind of past discretions or choices or whatever,
Mm.
Not like it was a good or bad thing all the time. Like I know, like if you do bad things, like, oh, you're going to get bad karma. But I've always kind of looked at it like it was just your energetic residue of choices that you've made, whether they be good or bad. And you do have to clear that residue from you, or it lingers. It can stain you.
Yeah, I mean, I can, being a Libra maybe is this, I can like weigh both sides of that. But if I'm coming from everything is energy, and from a law of attraction standpoint of whatever energy you're putting out is what you're getting more of,
Mm-hmm.
then that would stand true for even past stuff. Now, it doesn't mean you have to be a victim of it. But it's gonna remain in that same energy. And sometimes that is the energy is victim energy. Like there's a lot of people have that.
Yeah. A lot of people
happen to them. There was something else I was gonna say, and then I lost it. Sorry.
No, it's interesting. This is an interesting conversation, to start to delve into karma and what it really is and what it means to everybody on this call, because it's something that I think we all just take is like, oh, everyone believes the same thing. You know, we all think karma is the same thing.
I did a workshop with one of my spiritual teachers. It was a virtual workshop in I think it was May of 2020. He did it online, obviously, you know, and and it was all about karma. And it was like his belief that you could you could change, you could alter your karmic history and the patterns. And then the thing I was going to say before is there's a Steve Noble. It's one of the ones I listen to a lot. I think it's either the Starseed Alchemist one or the Light Warrior one, where he says like the rules of like karma is changing. You no longer have to like make up for your karma.
Could it be because the timelines have changed?
I'm sure. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure. I mean, that's kind of what Steve always speaks to, right? Is like things are shifting, and this is now, and he's always so on point about it. It's pretty incredible. I've still been meaning, like I've been pulling together a care package for him, and I'm almost ready to send it to him.
I have a question. Are soul contracts and karma related to one another, do you think?
I would think they are. I would think that, I mean, there are some times that they aren't, in the sense that maybe we have a soul family, per spirit, energy, whatever. We have a soul family that asks us to do something in this life, right? That is a soul contract. But then we also have past lives or past things where we agree, okay, you know, this time, you know, you played the villain last time, I'll play the villain this time in order to help you out with whatever it is that you need.
Right.
When I'm talking about victimhood, I'm really talking about people who say, oh, I don't deserve, you know, I know what I did in my past lives and I must punish myself for this one. Or when we say, you know, oh, I must be having this terrible life because I did something terrible in the past life, right? Those type of things where we kind of think it's inevitable. Energy is energy. Energy will hit us. Energy will come. All of that. But when we make ourselves victims of it, what I mean by that is when we go, okay, well, it's just going to hit us anyway, and there we go, you know, and we aren't actively doing anything to empower ourselves. When we use that karmic energy as a disempowerment rather than an empowerment tool is when I feel like we fall into that self-deprecation type energy, and we don't allow ourselves to develop because we want to blame karmic energy, or we want to say, hey, this was a past life, so this is why I'm living this way.
But we also feel that in this current life as well. I knew I grew up with a lot of shame and a lot of guilt, and I didn't know where that came from when I was a child. And it took a long time for me to work through all that and realize that I don't really think this is mine. I think this is ancestral, you know? And so I wonder if maybe I felt like, you know, oh, because I talked bad to my mom, I don't deserve this good thing to happen to me now. Or because I told that girl that she was ugly last week, that's why that guy is telling me I'm ugly this week. You know, like I've always looked at karma like that, like in this lifetime. Is it a past lifetime thing, or do I have it wrong?
No, so I wanted to answer your question from earlier of like soul contract and karma, and I think it's both, kind of like what Shannon was saying. So kind of like that Dolores Cannon that I read at the beginning, right? Like let it go, because if you hold on to it, you're gonna repeat it with the same people.
Yeah.
In the same way, only intensified because you didn't get it last time. So it's gonna bring it in hot and hard, you know, so that like you're forced to to deal with it. Now, that kind of goes against what Shannon was saying of like that kind of victim mentality is I think it comes down to choice. Like I really think that it's like we're getting that we choose our experience. And I don't know. I'm not sure what to say further about that, but that's just kind of the like little trickle that just came in about choice. And
Struggling with choice, free will a lot versus fate. I've been really trying to figure out what we really have in this earth realm, you know?
and I don't, will we ever really know in the human body? Probably not. Like we can take our best guess and whatever, but and then soul contract, I do think it's very much like what Shannon said of like that happened when I had that whole karmic thing last May, that I did that workshop with my teacher. And then right after that workshop, there was a wisdom course thing, like a online global web thing. And my old boss, an old friend from Australia, was on that call, and she's definitely someone I have had karma with, right? And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go in and like see if I can shift this pattern right now. And she was the one who, her higher self was like, no, like she's got to deal with this. You can't be the one to come in and heal this. And like she has to initiate it. But I had a huge understanding about that we have taken turns being the villain to each other and screwing each other over. This lifetime was my lesson, because it had me learn compassion and forgiveness and grace in a like way I hadn't before.
Mm-hmm.
And that I came to understand that anything that is not love is a call for love. And when someone does something unloving towards you, Course in Miracles says this, when someone does something unloving towards you, we are to relate to them as they are God or source or whatever you want to call it, as we all are. They're a child of God the same way we are. And they don't know how to express love and have their needs met. So you're either operating from love or you're operating from fear, and they're operating from fear. So I could have some compassion of like, how much fear must this friend of mine been experiencing to do what she did to me.
Yeah.
Or behave the way that she did with me.
Yeah, you just struck me there when you said that. Like, I feel like we need to spread that out into the world. Like whenever we're around others who are in that fear state, and, you know, we need to really, really show the compassion, and instead of showing any type of judgment or, you know, annoyance or, you know, distraction or whatever, it's like we really have to look and really point some compassion at those people and love. And even if it's just for a second, just to get it out there and kind of help change the energy of the room or the area, that's the TV, you know, wherever you're feeling that person needs compassion from. I think a good lesson for us as light workers is to stop, recognize that person needs that love and that compassion, stop, shoot it out to them, whether it be for a second, a minute, 10 minutes, whatever we could spare in those moments when it comes to us, and just kind of help to transmute that and dissipate it into less fear, less anxiety, less whatever hate, you know. And when you just said that, I just felt like that's something that we can do as light workers every day to kind of lighten the load of and this energy we're all in. Because I've been feeling like, not for myself, but in the collective, a lot of heavy, like energy and fear and anxiety and just the unknown of the ambiguity of everything. You know, like people don't know what's happening with the prices, with the war, with the virus, with the economy, with everything. It's just a lot of fear going around for everybody. Nuclear fears. And I think just sending out little bits of love every day throughout the day will help us keep our balance and help everybody else in the collective just to kind of go, okay, I don't feel so bad now. I don't know why, but you know, I just feel a little better, you know, like, I don't know. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah.
Jules, you said something that I wanted to kind of digress a little bit back to what you were saying about free will and about choosing. You know, I mean, I don't feel like what you said was actually in contradiction to what I was saying, because if we think about it, I'm saying the same thing, right? We choose, we have free will, you know, and that, and all we're doing is empowering ourselves. And that's what I encourage everybody to do, is empower themselves and to step away from the disempowering belief systems. Because when we can move forward in empowerment, we can empower others. And Jen, you were talking about, you know, about everyone's in fear and, you know, to send out love. And I've been watching Abraham Hicks a lot, and I know I've mentioned her a lot every time I talk here, but what I've really found is the more that we find our state of joy, the more we can create in the world. And so sending out love is one aspect, and I really do think that that's a good tool. And I would even add, for us to practice staying in our state of joy and creating that state of joy. And even with the slinky and everything that you're talking about, it creates the state of joy.
Absolutely.
And so if we can just mindfully do that ourselves, we create a different energy. And so even for those who are watching now, I mean, some people may ask, well, they may say, I don't know what joy is. Well, I don't know. I haven't experienced the state of joy in a long time. Well, that's when you begin to do things that give you joy. And if you don't know what that is, then take little baby steps, one at a time. Hot fudge sundaes, walks on the beach, sitting by a tree, interacting with people you love, and then beginning to find that state of joy regardless and despite any adversities that come. Deal with the energy, deal with the emotions, deal with the feelings and thoughts, but then move back into that state of joy.
Yeah.
That's very much my whole premise. That's the cosmic playground to me, is like spread joy and love, and and raise the vibration in little and big doses.
Maybe you need to make a huge slinky and go in like YouTube or something and just like get it going, and then get so many views that you can spread that slinky around the world, you know?
Yeah.
Pull it out, get the energy going, you know? That'd be pretty awesome.
I mean, I do have some videos of me doing the slinky, and I have me doing it on the sacred geometry, but
Nice.
Yeah, I'm that's part of my intention, is I'm gonna start building my following on TikTok and Instagram as well, so I can start to do a little more of that. I'm gonna start doing live card pulls on TikTok as well.
Yeah.
So I want to acknowledge that it is 12:07, so we could probably go through 12:12, so that we've done that, but we started a few minutes late, and my apologies on that on my end, on behalf of Zoom.
Shannon, I also want to say congratulations for your son.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, he got married on Friday. It was amazing. It was probably it was a very beautiful wedding, and I was so, so proud of them.
He looked
Woo!
beautiful.
Yeah, they really did. They really did amazingly.
You were like the proud, happy mom.
Yes, I was. It
Yeah.
was so funny because I didn't know if I was going to be able to give a speech because I mean they had already had all the toast all arranged and everything, and they surprised me with being able to. And Jen knows me pretty well, and I don't plan anything anyway, so I didn't have a
Right.
speech prepared. Um, but you know, for me, and this, I think this goes for life too, is like sometimes it's better to go with the divine flow. Sometimes it's better to just allow for the energy to flow through you instead of planning every moment of every day. Planning is good if you want to have foresight, but also just going, okay, this is where I intend to be, and this is how I flow to make it happen. And I think that's kind of how my son and his girlfriend did. They planned, but they also just allowed for the flow, which I think was what made the wedding so successful.
Mm.
Yeah. It was just, everyone was so happy. It looked like just a wonderful experience, you know?
Yes, and I was so surprised. I mean, my son, he's a pretty tough guy, and he was crying most of the
Aw.
reception and
Oh.
most of the wedding. He couldn't compose
make-
himself.
Hey, I'm all like getting teary.
It was amazing. Really happy that it turned out so well.
Yeah, me too. And Jules, I love your audience there at the theater.
Speaking to the crowd.
Exactly. I love.
Thank you. I'm just playing with it.
And I think today might be National Butterfly Day. Don't quote me on that, but I think it might be. So go hug a butterfly today.
Good luck
I
catching
will.
one. Yeah, I love that.
Okay.
So did anybody feel, somebody texted me this weekend and said that there was a huge energy shift over the weekend. And it's funny because I was so distracted by the wedding and everything else. I didn't feel it, but I felt in joy anyway. I guess when I'm in the state of joy, it's challenging for me to feel large shifts, and I was distracted. So did anybody feel it?
I did. I felt a lot of crazy energy over the weekend. And then it kind of broke out on Monday. And it was like relief, you know? But
I had a hard time sleeping last night.
oh,
I had
Just
some
want to say
really,
that.
I had some really wild dreams last night. And Eric during the night was like super twitchy. Like he was like, his body was like twitchy at one point. And then he let out a little like, ah, like I was like, and then when he woke up, I was like, babe, did you have a bad dream? He's like, I don't think so. And I was like, and I told him what happened. And I said, I was wondering if either you were dreaming something or maybe you had a visitor, like there was something going on, you know?
a lot of people having crazy dreams and about aliens.
Yeah, or journeying. And then I had a dream or whatever, I don't know what to call it, but it was while I was supposedly asleep. And I do believe that we do a lot of work while we're sleeping. You know, our soul does a lot of work.
It's true. Mhm.
And so I don't totally know if it was Earth or not, or another planet. And there was part of it that was like underwater, and we were doing something underwater, but then the place that we were staying was above ground, and there was some like weird stuff with the bathroom. I don't know, it was really strange. So Eric and I have watched the second season of Upload. And which, if you haven't watched it, it's a brilliant series, but it is very much about like you can upload people that after they die, and then their body kind of remains in limbo until they figure out the technology that you can download back into your physical body and be eternal. And there was one thing that was called like Dream Hub or something like that, where it's like YouTube, but they were broadcasting your dreams and people could hit like, and so you could be in somebody else's dream and they broadcast it, and they're like you're starring in their dream on this website. And so I think my mind was just kind of in this other like space of that, but I didn't really notice.
Make that into a movie. A good movie script.
I didn't really notice on Saturday, but what I did notice, and I'm also, I believe, a manifest generator in human design, and the manifester part, I think of it, or it might be the generator part of it, needed rest. Like that's what I've been hearing about. That is like one of those two parts like needs rest right now. And so we went dancing Friday night. I pretty much stayed in bed almost all day Saturday. And then I finally got up because my friend was coming over to help me unpack and whatever. And then I went and DJ'd a party. I DJ'd a party in vinyl, which was fun. I haven't done that in a really long time. So maybe that was how I was impacted by that shift in energy, was that I needed to rest for what was coming, you know? Because it's not like me to spend a whole day in bed like that. Like I don't almost never do that.
Yeah. Well, it was probably a shift in something.
Definitely, yeah. And I had a lot of people tell me, you know, that there was a shift. And I'm like, I'm feeling good. I don't know, you know, I don't know what the shift is, but I'm feeling good. So I did notice during the weekend that there was some very clear past triggers that came back up and through different people.
Mhm.
And I noticed that I handled them a lot better than I would have in the past. And so it was almost like a test, like, okay, let's see, we're going to give you the same exact scenarios. How are you going to handle it this time? And so I felt like I passed some tests this weekend as well. So that's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I actually want to complete with this if I can. This is so interesting. So I have 3 books on my desk that I was going to contribute to the little free library. And one is Until Today by Iyanla Van Zandt. And this is the page I opened to. So maybe I shouldn't get rid of this just yet. I will know love when I realize love is not what I say. Love is who I am and what I do. How do we take love and ideas about love out of the clouds and anchor love's presence right here on earth? Here are a few things you may want to consider. Love is who you are. How you see yourself, how you treat yourself, how you express yourself is a direct reflection of your true beliefs about love. When you can be gentle and compassionate with yourself, you will feel love. When you can be non-judgmental about yourself, you will experience love. When you can trust yourself and tell yourself the truth, you will express love. When you can see and celebrate your worth, value, and your beauty as a divine expression of life, you will be love. Love is what you have come into life to give. Treat everyone, regardless of who they are, what they do, or how they do it, the same way you treat yourself. See the good about everyone and in everyone, even when they make mistakes you feel they should not make. Speak to people in a way that will open their hearts, allowing them to feel welcome and worthy. Give others the same benefit of the doubt that you give to yourself. Are these not the things you need to feel loved? Love is the cooperative, harmonizing, accepting, forgiving essence of your soul. Love does not give up. Love does not demand what it does not have. Love doesn't force itself on others in order to feel better about itself. Love doesn't attack, to avenge itself. Love does not withhold itself. When we learn to see ourselves as love and to be present with others in loving ways, love will be anchored in our consciousness and on the planet. Until today, you may have been trying to figure out what love is and how to find it in your life. Just for today, be aware of and accept yourself as the expression and example of the love you are seeking. Today, I am devoted to knowing myself, expressing myself, and experiencing myself as love. Cool. I say not just for today, but beginning today.
Yes, for every day.
Exactly.
I do have to, I do think that that might be a good idea to complete there because I do have to go.
Yes, same.
So thank you all for coming on, and beautiful, beautiful thing that you just read, Jules. I think that that's a great way to create the new day. So we
Yes.
see each other on Thursday, everybody.
We'll see each other on Thursday.
Thursday is St. Patty's Day. So
Oh
you-
yes, Thursday is St. Patty's Day.
So what do you so what do you want to do about that? I'm actually having dinner with a
we would have to do it earlier in the day or maybe another day, you know, because I'm going to be having on St. Patty's at 6 probably.
Well, let's, if we can, how about we just go ahead and continue this on Tuesday? Would that be okay?
Sure.
That's fine with me.
And then we'll post some like St. Patty's Day thing
Yeah.
and we'll go from there.
Okay,
All right.
lots of love, everybody. Talk to you soon.
Guys,
Bye.
Have a blessed rest of your day. Bye.
so, bye.